and welcome to Fair Isle. Yes, we're inside because outside it's raining again.
Yeah, we've had some sunshine as well though. We've managed to get out, do some sailing. It's been absolutely great. Got lots of work done as well on the boat, so it's a good week.
Yeah, we've even had a chance to see what's going on up the mast. I hope you like the film.
Coming up, anchoring under the castle in Kotor, the best view in Montenegro. Climbing to the top under a rain cloud. And working with a top-class rigger. How safe is your boat? Sometimes in Montenegro, it rains. Well, quite often in December, as it turns out. But when the clouds move on, we can move out to the sunshine and the shelter of Kotor Bay. In between the rain, you get these lovely, lovely sunny days. So we're going out on a trip. We're probably going round to Kotor because the Christmas lights are going up there. And it's a lovely place to be and a fantastic place to anchor out. So we're going to spend a couple of nights there, leaving the shelter of the marina, though it's pretty sheltered in here actually, pretty sheltered all the way around the bay. There we are, have a quick look at where we are. Steve's just getting the fenders in.
Yeah,
and then we'll be off.
Not enough wind to sail, but it's just nice to motor, isn't it? It's beautiful. Gives a chance to run the engine in the winter, which is always good.
Yeah, a chance to run the engine and run ourselves. You can get a little bit stir crazy, even in the most beautiful marina, if you're not careful. And it's just lovely being out at anchor. That is our favourite place to be. Done this trip a few times now, but that picture is just wow. it always hits me. The air is cool but still, and the mountains all around provide perfect protection. But we're not the only ones here. Luckily, as we drop the anchor, the cruise ship is getting ready to leave. One of the local kayakers comes to see them off. And then we have the bay to ourselves.
Well, this is the best thing about Kotor, is being here at night. Get this lovely view of Kotor town and the wall and the moon as well, actually, popping up over there tonight. And we're adding to it with our own little show, because I've got the first of the Christmas lights from Fair Isle up and on. I'll have to do the rig tomorrow.
Inside the old town, a massive Christmas tree, but no one's celebrating just yet. It's a very quiet night.
It's dry enough in the morning to finish off the lights. I tend to attach a spare line to the halyard and wrap the lights around that as I haul. This string is on its 5th season, so they seem to survive well. We're off for a little hike up in the mountains. I'm sure this is a good idea, darling. The clouds are at the top of that mountain there, and that's where we're going.
Well, I think we'll go through the clouds and come out on top and have a fantastic view.
It's going to be like we're skiing.
A winter vista.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's all a beautiful vista here, isn't it? Look at it. Absolutely lovely. And last night it was glassy, so I managed to get out and get a nice reflection picture of the lights. Did I wake you up? It was about 1 in the morning. I was pushing the boat round with the dinghy.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, because she was facing the wrong way, so I just had to keep taking the dinghy around and pushing the sort of side on, and then going out to take the picture. Of course, then I need ripples, so I have to sort of wait until the ripples go,
Right.
and then hopefully she hasn't swum back. It's just a tiny breeze, but yeah, I got it in the end.
No, I love that heart shape that you get from the lights that go up the mountain in Kotor when you get the reflection.
You see it better at night than during the day. If you look at it now, you can't really see, but it goes all the way up, very high. We've walked it a few times and comes down around there. But yeah, it's up at night. It looks fantastic.
Now
Anyway,
we've just got to avoid the rain.
yes, avoid the rain. Try and get to the top above there, into the clouds, and back down for lunch.
Okay, that's optimistic. When we begin, the clouds are starting to gather, but it's warm and still. A good day for hiking.
So this route is outside the walls, the big fortress walls, and they wind their way up, right up to the top of the mountain. We have a dog companion. Seems to happen quite often in Montenegro. The dog just follows you up. This one's been coming for an hour or so. Are you off? Is that it? You're off back down. Just as far as you're coming. A bit of wall walking. A little bark at something a bit further up than what it was. See if he comes.
No, I think there's more fun things to do than follow us. Oh, maybe not.
That's what tourists are for, isn't it? Free walk.
Okay. Our walk takes us behind the castle wall, which was first properly constructed in the 6th century. Several sieges later, it stood the test of time. But behind us there's a bit of a commotion, and we realise our 4-legged companion is missing.
He's chasing them.
I think he's calling them.
Well, he's calling them, but the dog's chasing them. Maybe it's his dog. Or maybe he's going to get told off. I think he's being a bad dog, chasing the goats.
Oh dear. Let's Scarper quick.
It's not our dog. He's back. Have you been a bad dog? You get told off.
It's having a nice time anyway.
He's out of breath now. Yeah, I think they thought so. Which way do we go now then, dog? That way?
I reckon it's up.
Yeah, little marks, isn't there? Little red and white dots.
Yep. Come on, before the clouds come.
You get raki.
Prosecco, cheese, raki, wine, beer.
100 metres.
I think it's unlikely. As it turns out, the path does lead to a cafe.
So this is up beyond where the tourist trail to the castle goes. Let's go further up.
This is definitely a good path.
All good paths out here. It's great.
That's marked on
Yeah.
the track.
Prosciutto, yes. So that is it. This is the place. Oh, cherry liqueur. I think we're going to have to try the cherry liqueur though.
And look how wrong I was. I said it wouldn't be open, and it is.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is incredible. The whole wall and the whole of the fjord going around. It's an amazing place.
Might have to ask.
Don't think our dog was welcome. She shooed him away. I think she knows he chases the goats. So do you make this?
Yes.
That looks quite strong.
Very dark. Lovely. Try it then.
Okay. Oh wow.
Let's try.
It's very fruity. Probably quite strong, yes. Heartwarming.
There's a lot of switchbacks. So when you look at the wall from sea level, it looks like it sort of just circles up and round into the sort of side of the mountain, halfway up the mountain, but you can see it's not like that at all, because that's the wall. It is right at the top of that part of the mountain, and that's a separate mountain to the bigger one that's behind it. So it is a complete fortress all the way around, sectioning off that bit of couture. Amazing construction.
Every turn the view gets better and wider, but it is a long way.
We're getting close to the top.
We are.
A few switchbacks in here, and you should be able to see over through that gap to the other side. And the cloud has lifted, so I'm going to have to walk through the cloud. Well, I quite like walking through the cloud.
I do. I really thought we were going to.
Yeah.
I thought that would be it today, but as we get higher, so does the cloud.
Well, we'll see. It's still quite low over the other side of the bay there, but where the weather's coming from, it's looking good, so fingers crossed we won't get rained on anyway. And the path continues to be excellent. Look at that. Amazing.
It's wet.
There's light on the horizon, look, gonna get sunshine in a minute.
The rain has stopped by the time we get back to Fair Isle. It's our last night at anchor before beginning our winter jobs on the boat, starting with the re-rig.
Regular viewers will know we don't often have people work on our boat, and when we do, it pays to have the right person. So how do you find a rigger you can trust? Well, look for the hardest race in the world, a race using cruising boats like ours, and see who the best sailors in the world choose to work on their boats. Jade is responsible for Ian Herbert Jones's boat, Puffin. He did a complete re-rig for the current GGR. Jade was also seconded to work on several other boats in Le Sable before the off. Puffin is still going strong in the Southern Ocean.
So Jade, you've had your first look just up the mast. We've got other bits to do, but first impressions, what have you found so far? What's the bad news?
So far no red flags. Some
Okay.
advisories.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of go on a basis of necessities and advisories, and I
Yeah.
think we're just on the advisories, so
Okay.
it's all good in that sense.
So take me through the things that you're looking for then. Now, I noticed at one point you're there on the spreaders, you're sighting down the shrouds and stuff. I mean, what's the sort of things you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, most major red flags should be obvious. So, even an untrained eye should be able to pick up a stray wire. But then the details, where you're kind of forecasting and looking down the wires, like you say,
Yeah.
it's much easier to see a defect in the wire
Yeah.
if you're eyeballing
Sighting
it straight
down
down
it,
rather
yeah.
than straight on.
Yeah.
So stray wires, fatigue, where there's swage fittings
Yeah.
that you've got on this mast.
Yeah.
And then in the swage fittings, we're looking for longitudinal hairline cracks,
Yeah.
and that would be a red flag.
We are up for a full change in standing rigging, but still nervous that there may be some other structural problem lurking in a 22-year-old boat. One of the things Jade immediately spotted were some marks in two positions on the mast. Strange, as they weren't there a month earlier when I last went up. A bit of head scratching and deduction later, and we realised why.
So I was just doing my checks before the sun goes down.
Remember this? Our 2-day passage from Greece to Montenegro. A broken luff tape that I had to jury rig as the sun went down. A rush job that I didn't want to stress. So with one reef in the mainsail and later 2 as the wind strengthened to 35 knots, I didn't pull the main halyard as tight as I normally do.
But once the wind got up, it's been very consistent.
We were going downwind and I didn't want or need to stretch the leach of the sail too much and compromise my repair. The Vang held the boom well and from deck level all was fine. One night of heavy wind and the damage was done. It shows how quickly motion from a boat can cause problems. With this, it was the headboard being able to turn too much and gouging the paint from the mast. Just cosmetic damage, but a lesson.
Not just to look for things, but to get to know what's going on up there.
Yeah.
And for example, you spotted some ball bearings, you said, on the deck.
Yeah.
You know where that's come from because you've got an idea of what's happening up there.
Yeah.
So if you see a pin from a shackle on the deck, it's your first indication of what something that might be going on. And if you've been up there, chances are you'll have a visual of what it's come from.
Yeah, and more comfortable going up there because obviously if you've got to go up there at sea because something's got snagged, something's wrong, then you know you've got to sort of be confident because that's not the best time to go up a mast, is it? Yeah.
Mostly it's psychological. It can be safe. I mean, you use all your senses, maybe not smell, but use it. Use your senses. Use your hands as much as possible.
Yeah.
Shut up edges, fingernails for cracks. Like you say. And you'll notice I was running my hands up and down the mast.
Yeah.
And you can feel defects.
Ah, really? Little ripples and
little
stuff.
Ripples more than you can see them.
Yeah.
So yeah, as much as possible and as many senses as you've got as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, a boat like yours, Farrell, it's a very simple rig.
Yeah.
Which is perfect, you know, for the kind of long distance stuff. You'll know all the bottle screws are the same size, which is great. You know, it means if you do want to or have to carry spares, it means you don't have to carry an array of different sizes. And you've got tangs on the mast with eyes. Very simple, function, works perfectly. Super strong and easily to inspect. There's other terminals on mainly modern rigs that are harder to inspect and stuff like that underway.
So you're expecting if something's going to go, it probably is this, is it? Is in your experience, is that what happens?
Yes. Chances are, I mean, the wire's not going to break here. It's going to break down near the swage fitting here. Obviously, there's no articulation there. And so it's also crucial that it's all toggled at the bottom end to allow the articulation in the rig.
And everyone sort of says, you know, the problem with stainless steel is that you get no warning. It's, you know, it looks good 1 minute and then just breaks the next. I mean, how true is that?
If you're meticulous and you kind of go through the process and regularly, like we said, before and after passages, or if you've been out in a blow, then there's no kind of reason, and you replace it within the time threshold. And it's all prevention. All prevention.
We should talk about that as well. The time threshold. It's usually sort of 10 years. People are saying, and I mean, is that for insurance purposes? Is that what you would recommend if insurance wasn't a thing? If it was, you know, just going on what you know to be good and what not to be good?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, yes. 10-year plan. It comes from insurance companies. Fundamentally, it's kind of history of the boat and intentions of the boat. So if you're setting off kind of on a voyage around the world, then one would do it as default. But equally, if you're sailing around the bay, you can kind of you can keep an eye on it regularly.
Because you see people, you know, they say, well, you know, they've got 30-year-old rigging and it's all still fine. They say. I mean, would you say that's just an accident waiting to happen no matter what, or you know, what's
kind of it's a material thing. You know, eventually it will give up. That's the fact. And also, I've come across that comment a lot, obviously. And it's a bit like Trigger's broom. They've replaced the ones that are broken.
Okay, for those of you not familiar with Only Fools and Horses, a British institution, Trigger's broom might need some explaining.
I happened to mention to her one day that I've had the same broom for the last 20 years. She was very impressed and said, have a medal. I've maintained it for 20 years. This old broom has had 17 new heads and 14 new handles in its time.
How the hell can it be the same bloody broom then?
Well, here's a picture of it. What more proof do you need?
We have no real idea what has and hasn't been replaced on Fair Isle, as the original owner sadly died. We are definitely due new standing rigging though, on age alone, and everything else needs checking. There's a lot of strain on a bowsprit, isn't there? You know,
There's a lot of strain.
a lot of leverage.
Strain on the bobstay. So
Yeah.
Usually, I mean,
Oh, really? The bobstay's the most, is it?
And so the chain plate's always something.
Yeah.
Either if there's something with it, you know, I can justify rebedding them or
Yeah.
upgrading them.
Yeah.
But minimally rebedding them.
Yeah. Okay.
As part of the process.
Yeah.
And then not just kind of swapping all this, but physically taking it off and investigating what's
Yeah.
behind it.
I don't get down here and obviously clean as often as I should. You've got quite a bit of staining going on here. Would you be worried about that? The sort of marks you're getting there?
Not really. I think, I mean, you clean it, if it was happening on a super regular basis and you were cleaning it often,
Yeah.
I definitely want to see what was going on behind that.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of an annual thing or every 6 months, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, I'll give it a good clean and see what's going on there. With the crank iron here, I mean, it needs, again, some washers in here to centre that, doesn't it? Because that's...
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt on the top and
Yeah.
down here
Yeah.
where the bobstay's attached.
Yeah. And the bobstay, solid bobstay, is that going to need to be replaced, or is that good to go, do you think, once I've cleaned it up and
I
make
think
sure
we'll
it's...
kind of polish hell out of it and then go through it with a tooth comb
Yeah.
and see. And as I said, the chain plate as it's part of it submerged, probably have a go at rebedding it.
Yeah, obviously can't do it now, but yeah, that's something that's going to be really difficult to get to those bolts though. It's going to be challenging. So that's good. Jade's done his checks on the mast and the standing rigging. No red flags on any of that, but of course it doesn't stop there. You've also got to look at all the attachment points for that, where that goes, the chain plates. So I'm going to start at the front, and we've got the chain plate here for the forestay. So I need to pull one of the boats furrows. I'm just basically going to go around and pull a bolt from all of the chain plates. Jade's had a look at them. There's no, there doesn't seem to be any rot around them. They're not great, some of these, because they sort of go down through the bulwarks, and it's nice to have them, really, I think, on show on the outside of the boat. I think that's better when they sort of go through the deck or through the bulwarks, and you've got that problem of any water getting in there and getting crevice corrosion. But I mean, I've been quite careful sealing them. All seems pretty good, so happy with that. But I'm in the anchor locker now, and I've just taken, you might see at the top there, the bolt off this one, so I can bang that one through, and we can have a look at that bolt. While I'm doing all this, obviously I'll clean out the anchor locker. It's not too bad. I mean, that's one of the beauties of having stainless steel chain, is that the mud sort of washes off it pretty quickly. It doesn't drag a lot of mud in with it, but you know, it's just an annual thing for me now to take all the chain out, clean it all up, put it back in there. So just try and do other jobs while I'm doing this. Okay, so that's the first one out, and actually looks like it's perfect to me. Obviously I'll let Jade have a look at that and probably get a magnifying glass on it, but no, that's quite good. I was expecting some sort of marking on it, but it looks brand new actually. So yeah, I need to get a few more out and then have a bit of a clean up of all this, all the stainless steel. I mean, I've said it many times before, but it bears repeating. It's not just about how it looks, it's to keep it in good condition is the polishing that you need. And actually what I'm going to do is go through it with some Barkeeper's Friend, which I think is the quickest way to get the rust off, and use a sheepskin pad. I've got an old polishing pad for that, because it sort of just gets in there well and pulls it off really quickly. I've even got one on the end of a drill as well, to get into the little bits that you can't sort of rub that well. And then just whatever polish you've got. This one actually works quite well. 3M's polish as well. I mean, whatever good metal restorer type polish you can have, give it a polish with that, and get it all shiny and new. And then hopefully it'll stay like that for longer. If you've actually, you know, not just cleaned it, polished it, tends to stay a bit longer. So got to get all that off, and all this staining off from around here. I want to take some of these bolts out as well. Now, there's no question that doing the stainless steel is a long, laborious job. I remember a friend of my dad's who had a very big wooden boat,
Me asking him, doesn't it get him down doing all the varnishing and trying to keep on top of that? And he said, well, no, you need a mindless job to do. You know, it's like it's equivalent of cutting the grass if you lived in a house. Now, I'm sure Elon Musk probably doesn't go out and cut the grass, but he probably has something else laborious that he does. I mean, going by his Twitter post, it's probably that. I mean, amongst all the other brilliance that he does. But yeah, I mean, I think it is something that, you know, you just sort of got to get into and do. And in this case, it's really important because while you're doing this, you're really looking at stuff and you spot things that you would not spot otherwise. Like, for instance, here you can see there's a mark where obviously the anchor has been coming up and bashing that. That's new. I know that's new because I've been doing this for years. These marks down here aren't new. These were there before, but this is new. So I need to do something about that. Probably just change the way the anchor is held, so it's held slightly further down and not touching that. But there might be more important things like, you know, missing cotter pin, or, you know, a weld that's going bad or something like that you see. So even if you are, you know, time poor and money rich, don't get somebody else to do it every time. Just sometimes just go out and do it yourself, and it'll get you really sort of in tune with your boat and knowing what's where.
You'll learn from the experts too. I wasn't going to keep Jade to myself. Lots of different boats to see, old and new, cats and monohulls.
Because it's 12 years old, and then if we find anything in addition to it being 12 years old, then yes, it's a red flag, and you know, it's almost guaranteed that it'll be a new rig and other stuff. So it's not just checking the standing rigging, but everything it's bolted to.
Yeah. Bringing a top-class rigger to a marina full of cruisers meant he was a busy chap. And don't worry, I will wring every bit of technical info out of Jade for the technical video coming soon.
And then whenever you wash the boat down, then make sure you lift this up as high as you can and wash the terminals with fresh water. Now where you've got the diamonds crossing, this is kind of the bigger one, where you've got the diamonds bisecting like that, they're rubbing, they're up against each other. It's sawing through 30-40% of one of the strands there. For me, that's not going to last the duration of the rig.
Before that, though, we have a pressing and possibly painful appointment.
Well, it's a wild and windy night here in Porto Montenegro, but it's an important night. We're on our way to the Blue Room.
We are, and we're going to watch England versus France on the big screen.
Yeah, it's the crunch match, really. And it's been good. I mean, we've been going there for most of the matches. They even get the commentary in English. I don't know quite how. We had one with SABC and one with RTE, Irish TV, but great. So it's good. We can get a curry as well. Sit there with all the other English guys. There's been some good meetings with the Australians as well that are in here in force when they were still in. But yeah, it's going to be good.
It is. I'm getting dripped on now. Let's hope there's a good crowd and it's a good game.
It will be.
Nervous anticipation fills the room. I'm not kidding, this is serious stuff. It all begins well, a penalty equaliser. Then in the second half, well, you know what happens. He missed.
Well, it's been a couple of days now, still not completely recovered.
Come on, yes you are. You are. It's fine, worse things happen.
Yeah, look, it was a good tournament. It's actually been great being here because we've had, you know, the Welsh are in it as well. We've got some Welsh guys here, lots of Australians. So there was a real atmosphere when they were in there.
And
was
we
really
played
good.
the USA.
And the Americans as well. Yeah, so yeah, it's been good from that point of view. Just would have been good if it went on a little bit longer.
But
anyway,
there you go.
We've got other things to do.
We have.
The rigging, having Jade out here was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, he's amazing. He's sorted out our boat, things that, you know, we check quite often, the rigging, but there's still things that you don't necessarily see unless you've got the right eye, and having a look around some of the other boats as well. No, it's really eye-opening.
And we don't know how old our rigging is in truth. So, you know, as much as I check it, you sort of think, oh, you know, this rig's getting on now. I want a proper pair of eyes on this. And it's great to do that and to go through it and just to learn the best ways to re-rig this now, which, you know, is going to happen. Your brother's going to bring out a load of gear for us, which is really nice of it. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, he's driving. And I think that is, in many ways, the best way to get things to Montenegro, especially heavy heavy stuff.
Yeah, heavy and oddly shaped. I mean, we're having a new
Yeah.
furlough. You might have seen at Annapolis, we looked at the Furlex system, so that's coming from the UK as well. So Nick's bringing that out as well. Jade will come back, and we'll get through to all that, and we'll have a look at other boats as well, and do longer sections on that,
Yeah.
because there will be a big technical episode on all of this sort of stuff. I know some of you guys really like the technical stuff, and we'll go into depth in that.
And a re-rig's a big deal for anyone.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So yeah, we'll probably get as much out of that as we possibly can, and as much different boats as well. We're looking at catamarans as well as monohulls. He's looking at quite a few different boats,
Yeah.
and we've got a whole thing coming up over Christmas. This is probably our last episode
Yes,
before
Merry
Christmas.
So
So I have to say that.
definitely the last one before Christmas.
But there's lots of other things coming up over that period, so you don't have to sit there and just watch Die Hard for the 19th time. I mean, we'll watch it anyway, but
Yeah, absolutely.
as well.
20th or
But
21st.
but we have got lots and lots of other bits and pieces. We've still got some boat reviews from Annapolis to come up. The H&H is one of those, and lots of other
Yeah.
technical stuff as well. So watch out
And
for
we
those.
will be going out and about still. Probably have to hire a car, but we are going to go skiing, because that's one of the things you can do in Montenegro.
Yeah, can't do that one by boat, but it's going to be good. Montenegro have a ski chalet, so fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll be doing some of that, a few more walks, and when the sun comes out, yeah, we'll just be enjoying, because it's such a lovely place to be.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, summer or winter.
Plenty to do, so I hope you've got lots to do. Hope you have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.
We will. Thank you to our patrons, thank you to our subscribers, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.